It remains the biggest, hottest scandal in lottery history. Something that never should have happened, was predicted by Lottery Post for years, and absolutely could have been prevented. So how was it that lottery rigging mastermind Eddie Tipton cracked the code and stole millions of dollars from the lottery? We're here to tell you exactly how it all went down. December 29th, 2010. The date of a normal Wednesday night hot lotto drawing. Somebody in Des Moines, Iowa purchased the only winning ticket and won a $16.5 million jackpot, all for themselves. But month after month passed and nobody stepped forward to claim it. Nearly a full year passed and everyone was scratching their heads wondering what was going on. Was no one seriously going to claim the prize? Maybe the winner was an out-of-state player who didn't realize they won? Miraculously, just 2 hours before the ticket expired, someone came forward with a winning ticket, except it wasn't the player. It was two attorneys from a New York law firm claiming the prize on behalf of a trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the winning ticket, but we don't have the person nor all of the background information about this winning ticket.
Our law firm represents the claimant who submitted the winning ticket for the hot lotto drawing that was held last December.
We look forward to learning the details we've all been wondering about these many months, Iowa Lottery Chief Executive Terry Rich said. Every winner's situation is different, and it's always fun to hear the story. Yeah, this one's gonna be quite a story. Wait till you see how fun it is.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Lottery players do routinely claim huge jackpots through a trust in order to help protect their identities, but one thing many people don't realize is that even though the public doesn't get to learn the true identity of the winner, the lottery itself does insist on knowing who the actual ticket buyer is to prevent fraud.
As we talked about integrity, we've got to make sure that we're paying the right amount and the money to the proper and appropriate persons. Of course, Iowa lottery players spend their discretionary monies for tickets, and that's why we want to take the right time and to ensure that everyone has the same fair shot at winning.
That's something this mysterious lottery winner didn't think through. They refused to provide their information to the lottery, and that raised red flags at the Iowa Lottery. Cue in Steve Bogle, an Army veteran, former police officer, and vice president at the Iowa Lottery for Security. He was put in charge of inspecting the strangest jackpot claim in Iowa lottery history. Bogle's first instinct was to figure out where the ticket had been for the past year by working backwards from the day it was claimed all the way to when the ticket was printed out at the store. He needed to determine if the ticket was at any time in the possession of an unauthorized player, anyone under the age of 21, or people who work for or do business with the Iowa Lottery. By law, anyone who falls under those categories are prohibited from playing hot lotto and other Iowa Lottery games. Surveillance footage from the store confirmed that it was a man of legal age to play, so they just needed to confirm the latter. Attorney Crawford Shaw, the person who had signed the ticket on the winner's behalf, met with lottery officials in Iowa to explain the strange circumstances behind the jackpot, hoping to get everything straightened out. Things started to really escalate from there. The lottery got tired of waiting and asking, so they basically said, "Tell us who you represent, or forget about collecting the millions." Right before the deadline, Shaw suddenly withdrew his claim to the hot lotto ticket, saying that he didn't want to argue with the lottery and wanted to avoid further controversy. What? Who would back out of getting millions of dollars after going through such lengths to claim it? This was probably the most anticlimactic end to one of the weirdest jackpot pursuits the Iowa Lottery had ever experienced. Something fishy seemed to be going on, but the jackpot would go unclaimed. Even after the matter was put to rest, the lottery still had a bad feeling about it. After all, it was the only time in World Lottery history somebody won a major jackpot and gave it up voluntarily, just because they didn't want to reveal their name. Sure, people have lost tickets, but when has there ever been a time when someone came forward, went through all the trouble to try and claim it, and then at the end said, oh whatever, I give up. We don't want it. Bye. Sensing there was some kind of fraud involved, the Attorney General's office in Iowa opened a criminal investigation to learn more about the circumstances of this ticket. Investigators issued subpoenas for phone and email records and reviewed the video surveillance over and over to try and connect the dots to get any sort of lead. They even got in touch with Canadian law enforcement. They wanted the names of anyone who was in direct possession of the ticket. But New York Attorney Shaw was not having it, and when contacted for comment, he just said, "I don't think there's anything to tell. As far as I'm concerned, the thing is completed." At first, the lottery did not want to release the video surveillance footage that showed the player buying the winning lottery ticket because they were afraid that public opinion would jeopardize or influence the investigation. However, the video was released in 2014, 2 years after the investigation began. In the video, you can see the player in a hoodie and a baseball cap But he never looks up for the camera to get a better view at his face, and he appeared to be hiding himself under the hood. After 4 long years, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation finally made an arrest. Eddie Raymond Tipton was charged with 2 counts of fraud after playing or winning the lottery illegally. He was the director of information security for the Multi-State Lottery Association, or MUSL, the organization that administers multi-state lottery games such as Powerball, Mega Millions, and at the time, Hot Lotto. His job prohibited him from playing the lottery to prevent any sort of fraudulent activity from taking place and jeopardizing the validity of lottery games. The complaint against Tipton says he lied to investigators about buying the ticket and told them he was in Texas at the time, but cell phone and bank records indicated he was in Des Moines when the ticket was purchased. He also rented a silver 2007 Ford Edge, the same car the lottery winner had when the ticket was bought. And multiple people who met Tipton said that his and the man in the surveillance video's voice and mannerisms matched exactly.
No thanks.
How did I recognize him?
Yes.
Primarily his voice on the video.
Who was that?
Eddie Tipton.
The complaint also details the complicated maneuvering Tipton did in an attempt to claim the prize. He tried to filter the winning ticket through Robert Rhodes, a friend down in Texas, to make the claim for the money. Remember this guy, he plays a bigger role later. It was bombshell news enough that a MUSL employee was arrested for playing the lottery. Nothing like that had ever happened before in US history. But the fact that the man arrested was the former information security director for the organization that runs the games made investigators want to dig even deeper. Prosecutors then accused Tipton of tampering with the RNG, or random number generator, in the computer system that digitally draws the numbers in a lottery drawing. Tipton was obsessed with rootkits, a type of computer program that can be installed quickly, set to do just about anything, and then self-destruct without a trace. Word was that a witness said Tipton admitted before the drawing that he had a self-destructing rootkit. He was also seen in the draw room in November 2010 before the drawing took place to update the computer system with the passing of daylight savings time. But the cameras in the room suspiciously recorded only 1 second per minute instead of how they normally operated, which was to record every second a person is in the room. Prosecutors accused him of tampering with the cameras so he could then insert a thumb drive with a rootkit program into the RNG tower without being detected. Tipton, who also wrote the program that picks Hot Lotto numbers in the drawings, was just the person with the refined, in-depth kind of expertise needed to circumvent all of these checks and balances put in place to secure a digital drawing system. Tipton officially went on trial for 2 counts of fraud in July 2015, believed to be the first trial for a person accused of manipulating a lottery draw. Eddie Tipton was found guilty of rigging the Hot Lotto drawing worth $14.3 million after 3 days of witness testimony. From this point in history and on, he opened eyes in the lottery industry and around the world to the real possibility that digital lottery drawings could be manipulated. One crucial way of looking at it was not just that he tried to take the jackpot for himself, but he jeopardized the validity of the entire game for every lottery player and robbed everyone at a fair shot at winning it. In September 2015, Tipton was sentenced to 10 years in prison, 5 years for each of the 2 counts of fraud. It was proved beyond a reasonable doubt that he rigged the computerized drawings using a rootkit he installed on the drawing computer, and that he purchased the Hot Lotto ticket knowing that his rootkit would force the numbers on his lottery ticket to be drawn. Ironically, Tipton's job at MUSL was to ensure the lottery wasn't breached and that no one cheated the game. It was the largest invasion of trust and the most scandalous moment in lottery history.
This is an emotional feeling because it was a violation of trust.
So, case closed, right? You wouldn't imagine that it could be any worse, but it was. In the months that followed, Tipton was charged with rigging even more drawings and that the criminal enterprise had been going on for years. It was a computerized drawing nightmare. Court records show that Tipton had tampered with lottery drawings so his brother, Tommy Tipton, and his friend, Robert Rhodes, could win prizes. They both bought tickets using their own numbers, not quick picks, and the states they won the drawings in used a computerized drawing system built by, you guessed it, MUSL. The investigation moved to other state lotteries where it was discovered that Tipton had also manipulated drawings in a total of 5 states. So here's how Tipton actually rigged the drawings, including the Hot Lotto one. Investigators eventually found the code that Tipton had used to manipulate the numbers. He had waited to install his code until after the machine had been audited as part of its security protocols. The code directed the random number generator to not produce random numbers on 3 particular days of the year, May 27th, November 22nd, and December 29th, if the drawings also occurred on Wednesdays or Saturdays after 8 p.m. Numbers on those days would be drawn by an algorithm that Tipton can then easily predict. Having discovered this, investigators were able to recreate the draws and produce the exact same winning numbers from the program that was supposed to produce random numbers. Remember Robert Rhodes, Tipton's close friend who tried to move the hot lotto ticket around for him to claim it? He was also charged in the fresh new lottery scandals that involved Tipton rigging other drawings. With Tipton continuing to push back against prosecutors and denying that any of the rigging took place, despite all of the overwhelming evidence, Rhodes realized that he needed to save himself. Tipton was ready to take everyone down with him, and Rhodes was not about to let that happen. In 2017, Rhodes, the very same person who contributed to the biggest lottery scandal in history, agreed to plead guilty and testify against his former best friend to save himself jail time, and told them everything they needed to know to put Tipton behind bars for good. He described how the two worked together to claim and split a $783,000 jackpot in Wisconsin. In 2007, Rhodes visited Tipton at his Iowa home. Tipton gave him index cards containing a series of numbers for him to play on the December 29th drawing, one of the calendar days when he could predict winning combinations. Rhodes then drove around Wisconsin in a rental car, buying tickets from various stores before using a limited liability company to claim the prize. Then it was official. After more than 2 years of adamant denials in the face of mounting evidence against him, Tipton finally pled guilty in court to rigging the computerized lottery drawings. After agreeing to a plea deal, he admitted that he wrote the software that allowed him to predict the winning numbers. He would then give those winning numbers to friends, who would then share the winnings with him.
Well, I certainly regret my actions. It's difficult even saying that with all the people that I know behind me that I hurt, and I regret it. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. Tipton was not some sort of malicious criminal looking to do irreparable harm like you'd imagine. He was just a nerdy guy with a penchant for geeky problem solving. He claimed that when he first wrote the code, he wasn't sure if he would actually use it later down the road, and he didn't think that he was breaking the law. He was just inspired by the challenge and wanted to see if he was capable of doing it. And in doing so, he was effectively able to narrow down a drawing's winning odds from 5 million to 1 down to 200 to 1. Tipton was sentenced to 25 years in prison, the maximum recommended sentence. He and his brother Tommy would also have to pay $3 million in restitution. So could this have been prevented? Absolutely it could have been. Back in 2004, Lottery Post had actually predicted the scenario of an insider rigging computerized drawings with self-destructing software, which is exactly what happened. Lottery Post documented the threat in detail and even started a petition to end computerized drawings, which garnered thousands of signatures. But who else saw the flaws in the system? Well, none other than Eddie Tipton himself. As the head of IT at MUSL, Tipton pulled aside his boss and told him the computer software that randomly selected the winning numbers in as many as 17 states had a terrible flaw. It wasn't really random. Though his boss listened, Tipton told state investigators that other officials did not. They just told him to fix it and move on. So what did he do? Well, a disgruntled Tipton made some updates, but also stuck in a computer code that let him rig at least 5 jackpots worth a combined $24 million in prizes. Even after he was caught, Tipton insisted the lottery system remained fatally flawed. From a lottery player's perspective, one of the most startling aspects of the case is that state lotteries continue to switch from real lottery ball drawings to digital computerized drawings, the same ones that were rigged on multiple occasions. Computerized drawings have also been responsible for many glitches over the years in which huge swaths of purchased lottery tickets had no chance of winning a prize because of faulty computer systems. I'll throw a link in the description where you can find a bunch of these instances where this happened, as well as some specific examples for you to check out. You can also see which states used computerized drawings by visiting Lottery Post's State Lottery Report Card, which displays every game in each state and grades the state based on the percentage of games that use real lottery ball drawings. You can also find a link for that in the description. One more thing. There are so many moving parts and details in this insane whirlwind of a story that we just simply could not fit into one video. So if you want to know every single little bit of the Eddie Tipton drama down to the dates, names, other events in between, we highly recommend you check out one of our links below in the description that will direct you to a full timeline of events going all the way back to 2011 when the story first emerged. We hope you enjoyed this video and that you find the other tidbits of info interesting, and if you did, please feel free to leave us a like to let us know. Tell us in the comments what you think of the Eddie Tipton case, or share what you think about digital computerized drawings. We're really interested to hear what you think. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on so you can stay in the loop for more. From all of us at Lottery Post, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.